Hello everybody, this is Tom Wakley here, and today I'm going to be talking about the major scale. In this tutorial I'm going to be talking about the structure of the major scale, the function of the major scale, and how we can use it to create music essentially. So I'd like to start off with talking about how the major scale is considered to be the foundation of Western music, and it acts as the basis for creating harmony and melodies and songs and compositions. And it's also one of the most frequently used scales in the entire history of Western music during the Common Practice period and right up to the present day. Now, the major scale as we know it was originally one of the 7 church modes that was used during Gregorian chant or Gregorian plainsong. Now, there are 6 other of these church modes, and each one of these had what is called a plagal mode. However, these will be, I'd like to cover these in a later video. Now, the major scale is also the scale that is used as the basis for what is known as the circular fifths, which in turn are used as the building blocks for key signatures. Now, I'd like to cover these in another video. Now, every major scale consists of 7 notes, and the order of the notes and the distance between these notes are made up as follows: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now, every note or degree of the scale has a specific function, but these will also be covered slightly later on. Now, I'm going to be listing the names of the degrees of the scale here, but in terms of their purposes and their functions in music, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that once I get more into music theory and talking about chords and other scales and arpeggios, etc., and how to get from one chord to another. But at the moment, I'd like to talk about, as well as the structure of the scale, I'd like to talk about the names and what the major scale sounds like. So if we start off nice and simple and talk about the major scale in the key of C. Now, the key of C is considered to be the easiest of all the key signatures, as it has no sharps and flats. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a C major scale from one C to another, covering 1 octave. So I'm going to play from C to B and then its octave note of C again. A C major scale sounds like this. Now, as I mentioned earlier, every single degree of the scale has a name, and they are as follows. The first degree is called the tonic, the second degree is called the supertonic, the third degree is called the mediant, the fourth degree is called the subdominant, the fifth degree is called the dominant, the sixth degree is called the submediant, the seventh degree is called the leading tone. The tonic of a major scale is the note at which every major scale gains its name. So, for example, if a major scale began on the note C, that would be a C major scale. If it began on D, it would be a D major scale. If it began on F, it would be F. And if it began on B flat, it would be a B flat major scale. However, what makes the major scale distinctive is that it uses the same notes and the same order of tones and semitones in order to keep it recognizable as a major scale. So, for example, regardless of what note I'm starting on, I would have to use tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone for it to be a major scale. And now, as I mentioned earlier, C major is a key which has no sharps and flats. However, if we were to use a major scale on D, there are 2 sharps in this key, F sharp and C sharp. So if I began the major scale starting on D, I would have to go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone again. So that would qualify as a D major scale. I could not go straight from D to D, as in D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, because that would not be considered a D major scale, that would be considered a mode. I will cover modes and key signatures in another video. So let's talk about simple songs that use the major scale, one of which is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which, in the key of C, sounds as follows. Notice that the melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is very bright and happy, and it uses the first 6 notes of the major scale. Here it is again in the key of D. And once more in the key of F. Notice that the melody was played in 3 different keys, but still used the same distance between all the notes that was being played in the melody. This is what helps us identify the key of a song, and this is what I meant about songs being based off the major scale. Additionally, keys and key signatures are based off the major scale. So, that concludes our tutorial on the major scale. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can message me privately, it's entirely up to you. In the next series of videos, I will be showing you more details about music theory and more scales and what can be derived from these scales, and also about how to use them to create more music. I'm Tom Wakley. It's been an absolute pleasure giving you this tutorial, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.